Oh, get out my wallet.
Money, money.
Count 1, 2, 3, go. Count.
Go.
As a young man, when I was 16 years old, a friend of mine was in the Civilian Conservation Corps, and he got me into the 3 Cs at age 16. And my mom was worried about me, fibbing about my age, so I hitchhiked back up to Worcester, Mass. And I joined the Navy and took the test again. And he said, "What's your age in C's?" I said, 17. He says, "Be here Monday morning." And September 41, I went off to boot camp in Newport, Rhode Island. And I was transferred later to the Brooklyn Receiving Station. And I saw this young lady go by, and she was a Navy wave. And I asked her to marry me in 2 weeks. And this is a picture of our wedding. It was in the Photoshop in Manhattan Square. We got married around the Manhattan Courthouse. I wanted to get married at the little church around the corner, but the chaplain said you have to take lessons and do this and that. And I said, we only had Labor Day weekend. And I sent a telegram back to the base to get an extension, and they put me in her charge to be sure I didn't back up. But anyway, we lived in there a while. Then after a little boy had an ice cube tray fell on his head. His dad was a Navy chief, and he came in, and he was unconscious, and I went to get a iron lung. And the chaplain, well, the officer asked me, the chaplain, if I wanted to see a psychiatrist. And I said, heck, if that's the way you treat me. So I got discharged. My wife came to Ohio, and I wanted to go to Florida, be outside the mailman, because I like being outdoors. But anyway, my father-in-law had an engraving business, printed all the cylinders for the Thomas Coated Fabrics. And he said, no, you need a trade. So I served a 6-year apprenticeship, become a journeyman. And then we had 2 or 3 homes, and eventually bought a farm out in the country outside Johnstown, Ohio. And since I moved there in 1964, and raised our family, and have 33 grandchildren and about 40 great-grandchildren. Hung out with Abraham. But anyway, our blessings came as she passed away June 15th, 1915, or 2015, excuse me. We came to the American Legion because I was lonely sitting home, and the camaraderie that was witnessed to me by all the men at this post 254 kind of touched my heart, and I'm overwhelmed by the efforts that they put in with the labor and the work of fixing this old building so it looks like inside a box lit up with lights, all beautiful and white. And remember the kind of quote the Constitution preamble of the American Legion is for God and country to associate ourselves together the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and maintain law and order, foster and perpetuate to 100% Americanism, and to preserve the memories of incidents of our associations of the great wars, including a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the autocracy of both classes of masses, to make right this master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principle of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship for our devotion to mutual helpfulness. And certainly post-254 has left a mark on my heart for the things they did do for the community of Johnstown, Ohio. I'm touched by the efforts that they put forth in helping necessities, the things that are valuable. One of the things that overwhelmed me was a cemetery next to the building where we're at, and how hard work and everything, from stones that were all broken laying around on top of each other, to have reimbursed and put this cemetery back in such a beautiful condition for all men in all these great 10 wars. I'm so touched by this. And also the camaraderie between the fellowship of the men when we come here on Wednesdays for coffee and donuts, and on Saturday, the third month, for our meals. The friendship and the feelings and the closeness of all the men of all Vietnam War, Korean War, and World War II. Such a blessing to see the power on earth. Another thing they concentrate on, keeping children in these schools, our schools, from day forth, not to forget what the blood was sacrificed for these men and all these wars. And the fact of the matter is that I mentioned it when I was overseas on Okinawa invasions, a hospital called me with the 2nd Marine Air Wing. I learned one lesson there when I saw them bring a truckload of bodies back and the CBs dig a trench and line them up. And I would always remember the old glory. Whenever I see her torn, tattered, and faded, then I knock on the door. If nobody answers, I would take her down and put her on the porch. But my one daughter's an Air Force girl, a medic, and she bought me 10 flags one year and 12 the next. So she was kind of worried about me getting shot or getting beat up. So all the blood that was shed for our country and all our wars, the red stripe report represents the blood, and I would like to continue to do that. Do not fly your flag when it's torn, tattered, faded. And hopefully on Flag Day every year, people would take them down and replace them to respect the men that gave their lives for our country, so we would have the freedom that we are enjoying and the beautiful things America and God have created for us. And the one thing I'm concerned about is the condition of the world, the situation that it's in, with some of our evil leaders want to destroy this country and destroy Christianity and destroy the lives that were part of old glory and the country that we love so well. It's a great honor to be here in this Post 254, and all my friends that are here, and they come and see when I walk through that door, the power and enjoyment we spend for a half hour or so for doing the fellowship and talking. So this is one of my blessings that I am thankful that I was able to do each week instead of sitting home and missing my wife who left after 69 years. And so this helps me enjoy and gives me encouragement to take each day individually. I thank the Legion members in this Post 254 for the hard work and labor that they have done to make this building where we come and enjoy our fellowship and meals together. And I like to say, God bless this whole unit here. It's powerful and does things to help those who really need it and keep the ideal of Americanism and the old glory so that she continue to live in our country and not forget the history of those who sacrificed their lives. And there are men here from the Vietnam War, Korean War, and World War II. It's such a blessing. And I thank you for this interview, and may God bless all of you. And remember that Post 254 keeps you in their hearts. Amen.
Amen.